game.
Welcome to the football show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. It's always that moment when you fear you're on a minute earlier than you should be, because then we'd be off air immediately. So I'm Peter Martin, great to have you on board. Alan Ruff is here and so is Tam McManus. It's Friday. We are in a positive mood. We've got lots to talk about. You can join in. And if you hit the subscribe button, it's absolutely free to join us on our YouTube channel. And as you know, most of the people around the globe starting to look at everything on digital, on their laptop, on their phones. And it's absolutely free to join us on our YouTube channel. And a lot of people now, Ruffy, switching away from the old traditional telly, which is great news for us because we've passed the 30,000 subscribers. And the figures for so much of our news on PLZ Soccer, which is 24/7, people are lapping it up.
Yeah, I think everybody knows now that most of the population are on the phone, most times of the day, particularly younger people and older people as well.
Yeah.
So it's great that they're using that, and I think you've been a sort of a leader in that, because you saw that happening 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, 10.
So, did you think 10? Yeah, well, you never told me 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly, because I realised then you were never helping me. So I just decided to go it alone. But nevertheless, Ruffy's been with me 10 years. It's been amazing to have your man by my side. And of course, Tam has joined. How long have you been here now, Tam?
Nearly 4 years now.
4? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it 4 years?
Yeah.
I would not have had that, would you?
I think it's 3.5. I think it'll be 4 years in the summer.
Wow, that is incredible, by the way.
I remember 3 or 4 good days, but no.
And look at the progression since then.
Absolutely. And the good thing about the channel, because it's absolutely flying and taking off and people are downloading the app, the last thing you do is go to radio where you just disappear and nobody hears about you, Ruffy. Yeah. I mean, you just don't do it, do you?
Stations do, start putting it out there and nobody talks about them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Watch what you're doing.
Absolutely, and that's our competition. Where is Barry? So Tam, we like a noise up. Anyway, you can post a message to us, whatever you want to say. We'll be more than happy to try and interact with you, as long as you try and keep it decent. That's the only thing we do indeed mention. And thank you to so many people. Hi to Hugh Scott, who's an absolute regular. Thomas McDougall, and of course somebody here, they do make up names on YouTube. That's the only downside to it, Tam. I know the regulation will eventually force people to use their own name, right? But here's one, Ruffy's goalkeeping coach. That's his tag. So, and he just say, hello, is anyone there? Yes, we are.
5.
Hi to Anne Wood, and Billy, who always joins us, Ronnie Chapman. I haven't actually seen your name for a wee while, Ronnie, and he's just explained to me, afternoon lads, I'm home from hospital and I'm now on the mend. So it's amazing how actually you look and you see names that just, are regulars, Ruffy, and Ronnie Chapman was one of them. So Ronnie, hopefully you're feeling better and we're delighted you're back healthy.
Yeah, great. And of course,
usually the snap's just in and out, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. Just come in and out in the same day, but obviously it was longer. It was longer than anticipated.
Bigger snap.
So, anyway, where are we going? Anyway, and always thanks to Greg, who's in Canada. Always enjoy the show. All the best. Come on, Scotland. Greg, I think you sum up what everybody is talking about. And Nicky says he spotted Baz in Costco. Anyway, we only have a joke with him, for God's sake. That's the good thing about it. Apart from anything else, what have we got to talk about? A positive Scotland. That's what we've got to talk about. And with that in mind, I'd like to say congratulations to everyone, all our team in the background, our journalists, our researchers, our producers and directors. It's our 500th podcast today. Obviously, the programme goes on YouTube, and we've been in television, Ruffy, over the 10 years. But our 500th podcast, so thank you to so many of you for downloading the podcast as well. We really do appreciate that. We've got so many platforms for you to enjoy, not only the show but all the features. We've got a one-to-one with Kerry and John McGinn coming up. Kerry was out there having a wee chat with him yesterday, and he's the man of the moment, and on Saturday he could win his 50th cap if he's selected. He was playing it down a bit, but I think he's a stonewall certainty to start, even if he only had one leg. The quiz question, let's get into it. Name the 3 Scotland players with exactly 50 caps. There are 3 of them. 2 of them you played alongside, Ruffy. Don't bother saying it. That's why we put the quiz question out now, so they could have a wee guess, and then you can put it out.
We look forward to that.
And one of them,
That's a tough one.
One of them's in your era. So it's as simple as that. Okay.
This is a matter of what age is John again, roughly?
28?
Yeah, about 28. Yeah. Why?
27, 28?
6 years left in him. Say 8 games a year, 48. Could get 100.
Well, he's just actually turned around and said, "Why not go for 100?"
Yeah, I said that about Jim Leighton when he decided to stop at 92, and he could have went on to get 100. I think he fell out with somebody, but I thought he could have got 100. I think 100's the mark you should be going for.
Yeah, well, Kenny got 102 and he was absolutely sensational. And I think Ruffy's goalkeeping coach is right on it here. He says, Peter, PLZ has as many platforms as Ruffy has in the 1970s. Did you ever wear the platform shoes, Ruffy? What?
I don't
You had the permit, didn't you?
I never had shoes. I never had
The early 70s?
Flares? Do you wear flares?
Say things with the big heels.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Do you wear flares?
Remember flares. Oh, flares.
And then some, yeah.
And hipsters.
He wore a kind of a, I'm trying to think of the colour. He wore a purple shirt, right, with a kind of a blue or black dicky bow, with an Arthur Montfort jacket, and these flares. And we didn't get to see the shoes. This was him winning the League Cup, and I honestly thought to himself, the whole team, Thistle team, have had a meeting and said, let's all go as Coco the Clown.
Yeah.
And the big man embraced.
I actually had a blue, a sort of a Rangers blue colour, velvet suit. Velvet suit. Velvet suits were in. Velvet suits were the real deal.
Yeah.
With the flare bit on them and that. But I don't remember wearing the big heels.
No?
I thought it was just wee guys.
You were tall,
heels.
exactly.
Did women like that back in? Is that the look they liked?
The velvet suits? Oh, the pop stars all had velvet suits and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
David Bowie and all them, that's,
Yeah.
you know.
David Bowie. As if you know any of those albums. Just before we start talking about Scotland, something came up today that I thought it was, you mentioned Rangers there, something came up on the timeline which Cheryl, one of our sports journalists, highlighted to me, which I thought was great. We always like to go to McTears, Ruffy, and have a wee look when they do their sports auction. I think it might be October 14th, and the reason I'm mentioning it to you is because Alfie Conn's 1972 European Cup Winners' Cup jersey is up for auction. They reckon they'll probably get between £15,000 and £20,000, which is out of my league. But I'll tell you one thing, it's one of those ones I'd love to have. It's very rare. It's the first of those jerseys to come up.
I think they'd maybe go for more than that. I think that Rangers, staunch, die-hard Rangers fans would love that. That European.
It's a belter, by the way, 72. And Alfie Conn was a great player, Ruffy.
Super player. Great guy and all.
Yep.
In the olden days, they all used to go into town and meet up with each other, and Alfie was always there. He was a great guy. Just when you said McTears there, and see if we can answer this one.
Yeah.
McTears are one of our sponsors at Partick Thistle. And what they do is they sponsor the substitutions. Right, so when somebody's getting substituted, what do you think they play?
When
they're coming off, what do they play?
Is it
sponsored by McTears?
And is it Ken Dodd?
No, it's a saying. It's a saying. It goes.
Tears for Fears?
No.
McTears for souvenirs?
No.
No. Go on then.
No. And the substitution is sponsored by McTears. Going, gone.
That's good.
It's not coming off the park.
I'm happy with that. Anyway,
punchlines are rotten.
That's good for the public address system. Yep. Anyway, I don't know about you. I'm just giving you the estimate. It says 15 to 20,000. Sometimes it depends on who's in the room, roughly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
As you well know. But you reckon more than 20,000?
I think more than that.
Yeah.
I think I'll go for 30 to 40 grand.
Yeah. One of our other journalists, Blair, mentioned too. Is, they were talking about who was the star man in that game in '72. I think Willie Johnson's up there, Ruffy. Scored 2.
Yeah.
It's nice for Colin Steen to get a goal, but Willie Johnson certainly for scoring 2 in the finals up there. Although Derek and I worked together, and he mentioned to me that Dave Smith behind him was just cigars out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a long time ago now, but I'm sure the Rangers supporters, or the older Rangers supporters, will remember it vividly. And it was an incredible night. But I think you're right, Willie Johnson terrorised
50th anniversary? 50th anniversary this year. Is that why he's probably selling it?
Yeah,
Maybe
and by the
waiting
way,
to
if you get a chance,
50th.
I've just started watching about maybe 20 minutes of it so far. Still to go and finish it. There is actually a documentary about the 1972 side. I think it's on Netflix, Ruffy. It's well worth a watch on the boys all, reflecting on going through to the eventual final and winning it. It is a good documentary, and a couple of boys I recognise on it, as well as the players.
Did they have the same situation as the Celtic boys when they won? Because of the invasion on the park, they couldn't get the trophy or anything like that. I just remember something like that.
Yeah, same again. Yeah.
Was it they had to go inside and get their medals in the dressing room?
And then somebody handed them the cup. All rather unflattering. I think John Gregg, like Billy McNeil, that was possibly their biggest disappointment. But nevertheless, winning it, and that's why they're legends. Okay, thanks to so many people. Don't forget the quiz question. If you know the answer, fire it out there. Try not to go on the internet, look it up, and then fire it in as if you're super intelligent. You know what it's like, Tom.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody cheating.
If he does that in the WhatsApp chat,
so
tell him something and he goes away and Googles it.
Yeah, and
must
then
be somebody doing it for me because it's not me.
exactly. Scotland against the Republic of Ireland. It's a game now I think everybody really is excited by, because when you win, and when you win in the manner that we won the other night there, Ruffy, I think everybody starts to get a wee bit excited, and maybe it's a wee bit of revenge in there for the Republic.
Yeah, let's hope so. I thought they beat us quite comfortably the last time. I thought we were really, really poor. I think we need to get back into the momentum. I mean, Stevie Clark always, when we were on that run, it's 1 defeat in 8 or whatever. It'd be great to keep that going. It'd be great to get a win and go into the Ukraine game with 2 wins under our belt. It'd be fantastic. And you can see the Scottish fans who love seeing their country winning turn up in their numbers.
Yeah, sometimes there's a little moment where a manager, I always think the great line is, if you're going to be a manager, better being lucky than good at times. Sometimes there's a little moment where you decide in yourself, and Steve Clark's looked and said, okay, because of the players that are available to me, I'm going to go this 4-2-3-1. And suddenly he picks a team and they play football the way we all want to see it played. And is this the moment?
Yeah, I think that he's obviously learned from the World Cup qualifier. You know, we were poor that night, but I said it in the preview show. Jack Henry playing was for me was a masterstroke. I think with his pace at the back, we were allowed to squeeze an extra 10-15 yards up. We got in contact. We were midfield, and the midfield got in contact with their lone striker, which was Shea Adams, and there was very, very tight, and there wasn't any gaps for Ukraine to play in between. You know, they absolutely destroyed us in the middle of the park in the World Cup game. You know, they had plenty of room to run into. We condensed the game. We squeezed up the pitch. We were brave at the back. And we got what it was, and we've got to do the same against Ireland. We've got to use our energy, got to use our pace. You know, that's our attributes. You know, Scottish, we play at a tempo that sometimes, you know, but you've got to have quality on the ball as well, and that's been our downfall in the past. But I think now we've got both. We've got energy, we've got pace, we've got power, but we've got quality on the ball as well. And when we play the way we played the other night, and against Denmark, who are another top team, beat them 2-0 comfortably, we look a really, really strong team, good team. And if we play the way we played against Ukraine the other night, and it's a big if, we'll beat Ireland comfortably. Yeah.
The point I was going to make to you, and I'll get Ruffy's thoughts on this as well. Does he stick with the same team? Obviously with Patterson
100%. I thought Hickey played well when he came on. I think that'll be the team that finished. You know, the team that kind of finished the game will start. I think that Shea Adams, he done everything bar score a goal. I thought he led the line well. He was ragged on the 2 Ukraine centre halves. Possibly one of them could have got sent off on another day.
Yeah.
So he laid the groundwork. I know as a striker myself, sometimes you come on and pick your pieces up. And Lyndon Dykes done that. You know, Shea Adams ran the 2 centre halves ragged for 70 minutes. And then Big Dykes come on and gets a couple of goals when they're tired and no other place. So I think they'll be looking for the same again. I think Adams again will play 65, 70 minutes, and then they'll bring Dykes on at the end of the game. But I think they'll play the same team if they're all fit and available. Bar Hickey in for Patterson.
Yeah, James Skeen says we need to stick with the 4-2-3-1. The source says it'll be a totally different game versus the Republic. Well,
much more physical game. Agree with that.
Blackadder says I'm cheering Ireland. You're perfectly entitled to do that. Let's hope you get pumped. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, Rob. Yeah, we want to win.
Yeah, we certainly do. And there were a lot of big players in the second half of that game. I'm going to single out Callum McGregor. I think Callum McGregor year on year is turning into a right good international player. I know he's not a Modric. I think he's a mini Modric. He's beginning to control the game now. He's beginning to bring people into the game.
Yeah, Ruffy, where have you been?
No,
where have you been?
No, I'm just thinking an international stage. He's beginning to stamp his authority on the game and make passes, good passes, bringing people into the game, getting forward, just controlling the game. I remember wee Barry used to do it.
Yeah.
You know, when he played with Scotland.
Absolutely did.
He used to control the game, you know, at his tempo, at his pace. And I think Callum's getting, well, we all know what he can do at club level, but I think international level, he's really come on leaps and bounds.
Yeah. I just think when we talk about the qualities of John McGinn, and nobody, I think if you're talking about 3 or 4 players that are good, that's a good sign for us. McGinn, great. McTominay in his preferred position, instead of playing as some makeshift centre half. And McGregor allowed to actually do what he does at Celtic so effectively, Tam. Sometimes 5 and 10 yard passes, people think, oh, that's easy. It's not when you're going forward, and he wants to go forward. He's a midfielder who lifts his head, knows what's around him before he receives it. He can see the vision, and then he can turn around and move us forward. Lots of players, midfielders that we've witnessed down through the years, Tam, make a career out of playing the ball sideways.
I think Callum McGregor's a tremendous player. I think he's getting better with age. I think, in terms of Scotland, he's never let us down. I think he scored the only goal we scored, against Croatia in the Euros. Great finish for the edge of the box when we thought with a wee chance. But I think he's a tremendous player. And him and McTominay sitting in the 2 deep roles allows McGinn the freedom to go and get after teams. And you looked at John the other night, gets a great goal, but he could have scored 2 or 3. His record for Scotland's incredible, John McGinn, but he needs that security behind him. The 2 guys just sitting there, and he can go and use his energy to get forward and run by the striker. So I think the blend we had the other night in the middle of the park was perfect. Shea Adams led the line well, down the sides. We get down the sides against Ukraine, but it's going to be a totally different game. Stephen Kenny was at the game the other night. He'd have seen, how good Scotland were, and I think they'll try and shut up shop early doors a little bit, because they know Scotland will be still smarting from that hammer, and it was a hammer in Dublin. 3-0, and the Scotland players will have that in the back of their mind, going out in that park, and they want to put that right. And Ireland will be looking to try and ease into the game, but we need to go for the throat straight again, get after Ireland, press them high, and they try and get that early goal, and then we can go and win the game. Yeah,
Alan Robertson says, I was really impressed with Scott McTominay the other night. Gallant says, McGregor is a very consistent player. Lynn says, me too. I think she thought McTominay was excellent the other night there. And he's playing well for Manchester United, as so many people have pointed out. Ruffy, I think he deserves a bit of praise.
Yeah, I thought it was a waste, playing in that back 3. I can see why he was there. He's comfortable on the ball, building up for the back. But it wasn't until I seen him the other night. He's got quite a big presence in him. He's quite a big, tall boy. He's quite, a figure. Centre of that midfield. Who likes to get forward, and he is playing with better players at Man United. International players. So you would think year on year, the more games he gets with Man United, the better he'll be for us. And I think that is his position. And I've always said we should be playing our good players in the right position instead of playing them out of position.
Talking of positions, what do you make of the predicted lineup? We're just having a look at it. I don't think it'll be too difficult to predict when you consider the performance of the starting 11. Gordon, Hickey in that right back role, Henry, McKenna, Tierney, McTominay, McGregor, and then Armstrong, McGinn, Christie and Adams. I must admit, I'm going to give him the credit, Scott McKenna. I'm not a huge fan of our centre of defence at the moment, and Scott, I'm not a big fan of Scott McKenna. I have to be convinced over a longer period of time, and I'm willing to take it in the chin, Tam, if he suddenly develops into a really good internationalist.
I like him. I think he's a decent player. I think he gives you balance as well. He's left-sided. He's a big lad. He's got decent pace. He's playing the Premier League in England, and I just think that because of his time at Aberdeen, people maybe no rate him, but I think he's a good defender. But as I said to you, I think having Henry beside him was huge. I think Henry is rapid. There was a ball in behind the other night, and the big striker for Ukraine had 2 or 3 yards on him, and he whizzed by him. His pace, recovery pace, is vital. And Ireland have got pace up front. That's one thing about them. So we probably have to be a little bit careful, but we've got to play that brave high line again and get up the park and make sure that we condense the game. Less space for the midfield to run, and less space for the wingers. So I think same again. You know, go and press Ireland. Ireland won't be as comfortable in the ball as Ukraine. Ireland will probably go a little bit longer, and I think that'll suit us as well. The big boys at the back.
Yep. We're going to hear from the man of the moment now, because yesterday our reporter Kerry Pollock was out there in Edinburgh at the Oriam to get a nice wee one-to-one with the man of the moment who's on the verge of getting 50 caps, John McGinn.
I'm joined here by Scotland international John McGinn. John, a great performance against Ukraine. How important is it that we replicate that on Saturday against Ireland?
Yeah, well, it'd be a waste to fling it away with a poor performance on Saturday. It seemed to click last night. A great performance both on and off the ball, and we got the result that we deserved in the end. We've avenged a couple of things from the summer, and we're trying to build something as a team. So a great performance and result all round, and hopefully build on it Saturday.
And Saturday will be your 50th cap for Scotland. What does that mean to you, not only to get your 50th cap, but to be the captain and amongst that time as well?
Well, captain in Scotland's always a privilege. Obviously, I'm just the stand-in when Rob was injured or suspended. But for me, playing for Scotland once was enough. But to be approaching 50 caps is mental. It is a pinch me moment, and hopefully one that I'll remember for the rest of my life. So if the gaffer decides to select me, it will be a huge moment for me and my family.
How influential has the manager been in getting that attitude back for players wanting to play for Scotland again?
As you can see, we've very rarely got any pull-outs. He's brought a real club feel into the group. He's been first class, and I think it helps when you get results. But even after the summer, everyone was keen to get back. We know the belief and the ability is there. It's just to carry it out in a match environment, and thankfully we owed him a performance last night, and we managed to give him one.
Top of the group just now, how great would it be to finish at the top of the group of the Nations League?
It's so important for us. We know that what's at stake. If we win the group, we'll get into Division 1 of European international football, which should be huge for us. We know we've got 2 really difficult games to come up, but it's in our hands, and if we manage to do the business, it will be huge. In a number of reasons, and especially for the pot 2, hopefully the Euro 2024 draw.
And finally, a question a wee bit off topic. It's been well documented that you like to use your body to turn players, kind of thing. How has it been to be compared to Kenny Dalglish in that aspect?
I'm not really want to be compared to Kenny Dalglish, because I could get nowhere near him on the park, but I can see why the bum comparisons are there. I like to use it to my advantage. A lot of coaches have tried to coach it out of me, but thankfully the gaffer lets me use it and gets it in front of people and use it to their advantage.
Thanks very much, John. All the best of luck on Saturday.
Brilliant, Kerry. I love
the J-Lo of Scottish football.
I was just about to say. I just about to say, brilliant from Kerry, because just a lovely interview with a guy who is the man of the moment.
Yeah, it was a great interview, and I know John obviously from his time at Hibs, and I can remember when he first got called up. Hibs won the Championship, so that shows you how good a player he was. Hibs, he wasn't even in the top league, and Gordon Strachan, I think, called him up and gave him his first cap. He was an absolute standout at Hibs. Went down to Aston Villa, and he's just got better and better. Workhorse, can play anywhere in the middle of the park. He's got a goal in him, particularly for Scotland, and I just think he's a tremendous player, and he's a tremendous boy as well. He's a good lad, and airs and graces, down to earth. Great family, the McGinns, and it must have been great for him, I know, to get capped to his brother Paul over in Austria. I think he spoke about that, saying that was his greatest moment, and a great moment for the family, but really down to earth family, and I'm glad to see John doing really well. Yeah, and of course, Kerry diplomatically trying to ask the question, look, what about your big fat back end? But you played with Kenny. I watched him from afar. He was my favourite player of all time, Ruffy. I mean, honestly, if you look at the goal, if I urge anybody under the age of 40, just put in Dalglish versus Belgium, and he scores a goal which is just out of this world, and it's all about the back end, the swivel, the finish. Yeah,
he could turn centre halves quite easily just by using his back end, and he used to do it all the time. And I think he scored another same team against Belgium, and against Spain as well. I think he did one there that. He didn't have the physique of the modern day player, but he had. You always mention that. I think you're trying to say he didn't have the six pack. No, he didn't have a six pack or anything like that. He was fit, obviously. As fit as anybody could be. But he's not a modern day physique player, if you know what I mean. But he didn't need to, because he had the ability, to be far superior than everybody else. Yeah, and again, better than most. That point there that Tam made.
some players, even although they go through the levels in their career, they don't change. And Kenny's still the same. I mean, I was lucky enough to have a good natter with him down at Liverpool Villarreal as well, and we've had him on the show about 3 times. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, great sense of humour. You know, you don't know when it's coming.
Yeah.
But but it does come, it's there. But no, you know, and he's very, it's the word, he's very loyal to people that around him, if you know what I mean. You know, he likes being surrounded by people because he feels comfortable with people like Graham Souness and all these guys, you know, because he's been brought up with them. But no, a great guy. And another thing, just to go back to John McGinn, if he gets his 50s cap, I know he'll be chuffed with it, but his family will be more chuffed because he gets the gold medal. You get a gold medal when you get 50 caps. It's a beautiful gold medal.
Yeah,
and I'm sure his family.
You bring it out at parties all the time. It's unbelievable. It's getting a bit.
You brought it the last time, didn't you?
I know, it's getting nauseating, by the way.
In your house, and you brought out their League Cup winners medal and all.
Yeah, and by the way, this is Kubias's jersey.
Aye.
And then what we do midway through his party in his house is we play
down to earth people.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's not him. By the way, when we go to his house for the big parties, I don't know if you've been to the big party yet. Midway through the night, everybody stops and he goes, right, okay, we're going to play Hunt for the Zico top, and you get to look around the house to see if you can find it.
You were hunting for it down the bottom room, weren't you, when you were there?
Something you want to discuss with us? No? Okay then. I am not as cocky now, are you?
He's at it.
That's a party for you, and that's in the first book when it comes out. Okay, listen, our reporters are out there. We mentioned to you that PLZ Soccer's 24/7. We like to get out and bring you all the interviews, the press conferences that are happening, going to the games, giving you opinion, chance for you to just mix in with us as well, and give us your opinion on your favourite team or indeed international football. So out at the Oriam today, Adam Binney was there.
Thanks, Peter. I'm outside of the Oriam, Scotland's National Performance Centre, ahead of Scotland's UEFA Nations League match against Ireland tomorrow night. Scotland know exactly what they need. 3 points would mean they only need a point in Ukraine next Wednesday to be promoted to UEFA Nations League A and guarantee themselves a semi-final playoff spot for UEFA Euro 2024. But we were speaking to manager Steve Clarke, and he insists that his squad have achieved nothing yet.
At the moment, all we've achieved is that we can't get relegated from the group. That's the only thing we've achieved. We can finish third, we can finish second, we can finish first. So it's just to treat the Irish game as well as we treated the game against Ukraine.
Nottingham Forest defender Scott McKenna has become a mainstay in the Scotland backline as of late, and he's hoping to avenge the defeat to Ireland in June tomorrow night for the sake of the Scotland fans.
Yeah, definitely. We'll let ourselves down, we'll let everyone back home down, but also the big travelling support that we let down as well, so we'll look to everyone tomorrow to put in a good performance and get a positive result.
Steve Clarke was telling us how engaged the Scottish public are with his group of players. He's not the only man who thinks that. Ireland manager Stephen Kenny gave his thoughts on just how important the Scotland fans are for the home side.
Got to go to Hampden very determined, because their home record, Scotland's home record, is excellent, and we're going to have to be put in a really brilliant performance to get a result there. And that's what we're trying to do.
Huge match for Scotland tomorrow night. If you'd like to stay up to date with everything going on at Hampden, I'm your man. I'll be there. Follow us across all of our social media channels on our Facebook story, Instagram story and Twitter feed for live updates. But for now, it's back to you in the studio, Peter.
Thanks, Adam. I love it. I love his cockiness, by the way. I'm your man. I'm there. I'm at the game. I'm going to bring you it all. What more can you ask for?
I'm just dying to see what he's like in a night out.
Yeah.
If he's like that now.
Can I just say something? This is the God's honest truth. He's a really good futsal player, but he's thrown the gauntlet down, Tam. I mean, it's just been ridiculous.
Why futsal? Why don't you just play fives?
Well, because he's ranked rotten at fives. But at futsal, it's all about that touch. It's the intensity of the game, heavier ball. It's a wee bit about the skill as well. But the other thing about it, Ruffy, is you know what it's like when you get to that age. You've got no consideration for anybody who's older than you, and he just says, "I don't care what team you put out, we'll hammer you."
That's a big mistake. The amount of names you've got in your book, that's a big mistake.
And he's now starting to put in stipulations. Only Scottish people must be over 40. They're retired. You know, so
just seen that Stephen Kenny. He's getting all just for men out, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, his hair's nearly the same colour as mine now.
Yeah. I think you should go back to the Bond villain days. That was when you were at your most dangerous. Here's the group table to have a look at, and it's good viewing for us. Scotland at the top, 9 points. So Ukraine on 7, Ruffy, Republic of Ireland on 4, and then Armenia on 3. So if we could beat the Republic of Ireland, go to 12 points, it's really, just a draw against Ukraine, and that's us.
Yeah, you would like to think we're capable enough to get a draw. I think I'd rather have that one than having to go there and get a win. So I think we're good enough to now go away from home and try and see it out. I know we didn't do it at the Republic of Ireland, but
I wouldn't like to be going to Ukraine with an attitude of let's see it out, Ruffy. I think we can actually go and try and really,
win it.
Do
you? Well, I'm not,
press them.
We've
got to press them. You can't sit back.
You've got to press them. No, I'm not. If we were to go away from home, I mean, most of the big results we've had have been away from home, but they've been draws, and then going to penalties or something like that. Let's hope we don't need a draw.
Yeah, can I just say something? I think it's only right and proper that I read out some of the people who are watching the programme. And one of them is Jim O'Neill. He says, "Hi Peter, I'm watching the show from Lanzarote," which would make you sick, wouldn't it?
A bit warm on here.
Yeah, absolutely. He says it's beautiful sunshine, but we've been warned to lock down our balcony furniture tonight as there is a storm coming. There you are. So maybe we're not a good idea going to Lanzarote. And the source says Adam does a great job. You're absolutely right, source. Adam really does. He's out there with Kerry and they're doing a great job for us, and we're bringing you as much football information as we possibly can. So tell your friends, share the programme and hit the subscribe button if you can, and I think we'll obviously try and get more and more of you involved in the programme by reading out your messages. Philip McDonald, who's clearly late to the programme, Ruffy, says, "Why is Tam's hair like Tintin's?" so to be fair, by the way, he hasn't seen some of your really mile out haircuts, Tam. Do you remember that day?
Right.
Do you remember that day? You came in like a Ned.
I did that. That was a big mistake.
That's my favourite one of all time.
My hair was too long. I needed a cut.
Yeah, I was waiting for him every time you answered something, Ruffy, to go, "No, it's no." So, listen, Philip, you should look back in some of the shows. It was absolutely fantastic. The odds, Ruffy, I know you like them. So we're evens to win. Ireland 11-4, 21-10 the draw.
Even, man, it's got to be.
Get the wheelbarrow out, Ruffy!
I'm not a big gambler, and I don't.
Yeah.
It's worth a tenner.
It's worth a wee tenner or something like that. But I'm sure Tam Cowan will be into that.
Yeah, I think the last time you were in my company for gambling, did I not walk away with about 500 quid?
Yeah.
That was a great day.
What was the name of the trainer again? Keith Dalglish.
He
had a tenner, was it 50 to 1 or something?
Do you know what was great about it? It was him. I mean, I'm looking at the horse and thinking, it's great, I like it, it's exciting. Where's my horse? And he's jumping on my head going, it's winning, it's 50 to 1. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Money goes to money, doesn't it? Money goes to money.
We enjoyed it, were you?
It was a...
Did we get off him? Did we get a bottle of beer off him?
No.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the PFA?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, thought you might. Anyway, so well, you're having a bit of it. Do you fancy it at that evens?
Oh, I'm sure Scottish supporters will be really weighing into that. Even money at home. I know they beat us 3-0 the last time, but they shouldn't be beating us at home. They shouldn't even be drawn with us at home. We've got far better players, I think.
Yeah.
So let's just go out and do it.
It's amazing what happens with the people who speak to us and send us messages, by the way, because with the manner of the way we won that match against Ukraine, sometimes I think I always try and keep a lid on it, but on here, you've got lots of people saying we're going to batter Ireland.
I know, but I don't like that.
Well, neither do I, because the first one we got
against Ukraine.
Do you remember Henry, who decorated his Porsche in the Rangers colours?
Yes.
Henry sent us a message, and I think it's a very pertinent one for today's programme. He says, "Hi Peter, Ruffy and Tam, it's important for Scotland to follow up this emphatic win against Republic of Ireland on Saturday, or the win against Ukraine means nothing."
Yep. And as I say, I think a lot of people would have fancied Ukraine to turn us over again. We go there with not a lot of expectations. Now everybody expects us to beat Ireland, and that just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lynn, who's getting all emotional, says, "I went to Lanzarote on my honeymoon 34 years ago, before Lanzarote was a thing." Wow. Did you do that, Ruffy? Was there any place that you used to go to that was a venue that now everybody's into?
One was Palma Nova, which I believe is all built up now.
Yeah.
And the other place that I know is really built up now is that Tenerife, Part Santiago phase. I was in phase 1, but I think there's about 6 phases now. And it was just after a World Cup that I went there, and it was Harry Hines. Remember Harry Hines?
Oh yeah,
Harry Hines is a travel agent who did all the Scottish boys and that. And I phoned him up when I come back from Argentina, and I said, Harry, I need a holiday. I need
to go to Scotland.
I need a holiday, and I need to get away from football. I want you to book me somewhere. I don't care where it is. Just book me somewhere that I can go and relax and get away from football. So he booked me this place, and I flew into Part Santiago. It was, and I got in about 3 in the morning, and I went to sleep, and I got up. I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock it was, and I went into the veranda, and I looked into the pool, and it was Tommy Burns. Part Boner. The whole team. That must have been Harry. It was the Celtic boys as well. So I goes down to the pool, and I'm sitting there, and I've got a break. The boy comes in, and I goes, remember we used to get the big pints? Pints, big juggernaut pint. I says, I'll have one of them. So he brought it there, and he put it down. Tom Burns went, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to have a pint of lager on my holiday. No, we're going to run. We're going to run at 9 o'clock every morning.
It's your holiday from hell.
Kidding me on. So they did. They used to run to Los Cristianos. Every morning.
It's funny actually. It wasn't called that when we eventually went to Tenerife. The Los Cristianos was the quieter bit, but Las Americas was,
my first ever holiday there.
It was bouncing. That's when you were into the clubs, Tam. It was fantastic, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it as well. Where is Anne? If you're out there, is she with what's your first girl's friend's name? Senga? Yeah, where is Senga? The search for Senga continues. Anyway, that's Scotland. Fingers crossed. I'm going to go for Scotland to win it by 2-0, Tam.
3-1.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0.
Scotland.
I think it's a confident 2-0.
2-0, okay. Guys, Roy Spears says 2-0 to Scotland. Roy, you are with me on this one. And also, Thomas McDougall says 2-1 to Italy tonight, Peter, because of course, England are playing Italy. It's 14 months since England played them in the final of Euro 2020. They lost out on that occasion. And this is a big one for them, England, actually.
Yeah, they're not doing
well in this.
Hungary are top of that group.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a tough one to go to Italy and try and get a win. But they went off the rails a wee bit. They're not at the World Cup, are they?
No,
no.
So maybe they're getting them at the right
Macedonia?
time.
Yeah, Channel 4, it's on tonight, Ruffy.
Is James Richardson doing it?
You like James Richardson?
Oh, I remember the Italian football on Channel 4?
Yeah, Galazzo.
Football Italia.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That's when, of course, Maradona was at his absolute best, and all the best players.
Signore.
Every Sunday he used to.
Brilliant. Loved it.
Sampdoria, I think Graham was at Sampdoria, and all the English boys that were over there.
Do you remember who else played for Sampdoria who were English? And there was one from the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah,
Wilkins.
Liam Brady.
Yep, Liam
Brady.
One more. That's caught you.
Bricks.
Nope.
No.
He was a brilliant player. Played for Rangers as well.
Italy?
Nope.
Sampdoria.
He played for AC Milan.
Sampdoria.
Trevor Stephen?
Nope.
Gary Stevens?
Nope. I thought you had it there. You were really close.
Trevor Francis?
Yeah, Trevor Francis. Trevor Francis was a great player as well, Ruffy, wasn't he?
Brilliant,
yeah. Played for Birmingham, started out his career at Birmingham, but absolutely magnificent. Yeah, you're right.
Was he the first big money signing?
£1 million player for Nottingham Forest, yeah. I don't think Cloughie was too keen in signing him for the £1 million on it, but nevertheless, you had to be a really good player to play in Serie A at that time, and Gaza was just outrageous,
Everybody used to say, Italian football's boring, it's 1-0, and then they shut up shop and all that. That wasn't the case.
Yeah.
I thought there was some great games and great individual players as well.
I always used to like watching the big guy, Batistuta. Do you remember him?
Batistuta.
Yeah.
Signore.
Yeah. Great player.
Who was the big player that Florentina had? They had a big well-known player at that time.
Batistuta.
Was it Batistuta?
Yeah.
The purple strips.
That's him, yeah. Up front.
That's him.
Yeah. The Beatles will split up. Okay. So England. Listen, the other thing about it, and I don't know, it's a difficult one because footballers are there to play football. Talking about the World Cup, England looking ahead to it. Gareth Southgate was obviously asked the question about players and how they're going to protest against Qatar's dreadful human rights. This is what the England manager had to say on this subject.
Yeah, the people I've spoken to have sort of explained to me, human rights lawyers in particular, that there's not a lot more the players in particular can do than talk about those issues and put them on the table, because in the end we're not, we're asking for change in a country that we're respectful of, that has made a lot of progress, but also we don't have any control over.
I like Gareth Southgate. I think he's a thoroughly decent man, Tam, but there's a certain amount of hypocrisy surrounding this World Cup and many others when you think of the investigations that have gone on. Quite simply, Qatar has a dreadful human rights issue. Louis van Gaal over the last couple of days has mentioned as well that with all the millions that FIFA has, it should be paying out to a number of people who've lost their lives and have suffered injury building these stadiums. Yep,
no, I totally agree with that, and as there's so many people who have lost their lives for building all these stadiums, and let's be honest, they bought the World Cup, they paid all the money for it, and they were the biggest bidders, and you don't want to see that over there. You want a World Cup, and it's a different time of the year as well, a kind of Christmas World Cup as well, so...
It will be about 25 degrees though, tops, Tam. I don't think it's going to be the absolutely
and a lot of the stadiums
blistering...
A lot of the stadiums have got the roof with the air conditioning and all that stuff as well, so it's going to be light years what we're used to, but let's hope it's a good World Cup and we're talking about the football.
I hate asking you this question.
Now, see if you ask me the odds or anything, or something that's so outrageous.
What are the times of the games? Because when you get World Cup,
the group stages,
12 o'clock at night, or
group stages
2 o'clock in the morning,
10,
or something.
10, 1, 4 and 7, I think.
Our time?
Yes.
Well, that's okay.
You happy with that?
I'm more than happy with that,
yeah.
Semi-finals.
Hugh has already been out there.
Yes.
And we've had that discussion with him basically on the basis that at this period of time, obviously there could be the anomaly of a couple of days which are really hot, but at that period it's around about 22 to 25. I, on the other hand, look at the issues that a lot of people and journalists rightly want to write about with regards to the issues surrounding Qatar securing the World Cup in the first place, but secondary to that, I think a lot of people are well aware of a real imbalance between men and women as well, Ruffy. So there's a lot of things that I think we're just turning a blind eye to, and will it make one iota of difference to the people out there? I don't think so. I think they're happy to take the World Cup and they'll take all the focus that comes from it, but will it make changes? I'm not so sure. It's all about opinions on that one. Incidentally, by the way, Wales are playing Poland in a match that they absolutely, it's a must win against Poland on Sunday for them as well, although I think from Wales' point of view, it was painful for me just
looking, the World Cup,
I know it's painful for us, isn't it?
It's like if you're a club, and you're in a competition, you don't really want to win because you're in the final of a big one, and that's where they are just now. And it must be great for people in Wales, to be looking forward to that when it comes round. It just made me sad now we're not there.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have wanted us to...
We'd have probably won it another way we were playing the now.
Yeah, you would have... But listen, you're going back in time in a DeLorean here. That's what I said when I watched this.
Did you honestly think you had a chance of winning it?
No.
It was Ali that did it. It was Ali just...
But you think you'd get out of the group, wouldn't you?
I would like to have thought so with the players that we had, yeah.
With all due respect, you've beaten the team that made the final, Ruffy.
Yeah.
You've beaten the team that made the final, and you're saying to me, with the squad that you had in 78, you didn't feel as if you could have made the latter stages?
No, he said won it.
I know, but do you feel as if you could have got the latter stages?
Yes, the section, yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask you this question? This is absolutely hypothetical, and hindsight is a wonderful thing. If the SFA had come to you and said, look, we're in the top drawer hotel, right? The flight out is magnificent. You're going to be up the front with us sipping, not sipping champagne, but up the front. The hotel's of preparation superb, and here are your bonuses. Big bonuses if you get to the latter stages, huge bonus if you win the World Cup. Do you think you would have had a different outcome?
No, and money never motivated me. It might have motivated other people. It wouldn't have made me play any better. It'd have been a great incentive. It would have been great.
Would you die faster?
I don't think it affects you.
No?
See in Spain, when we had to beat USSR to qualify.
Yeah.
Well, we were given an incentive because if we'd beat them, the next games weren't for 8 days.
Right.
Right? So everybody was to get £500 and we could go anywhere for 2 or 3 days in the vicinity of where we were.
Right.
Just to relax and get away from it and then come back and think myself, John Robertson and a couple others were looking at brochures for Morocco because we were on Gibraltar, the Sota Grande, and we were going to jump in a boat and go to Morocco for 2 or 3 days, but I went out the one day when they two banged into each other.
And a big hello to Willie Miller and Alan Hansen, just in case you've forgotten about it. We haven't. No, Ruffy, I mean, I'm not being dismissive. I thought you had a great team. I always look at the 1982 side, and Tam, I've got a great picture of them, every one of them. Top drawer, and I include Ruffy in this because I know some people on here talk about, their recollections of Ruffy, and when you look back in history and if you've seen him play, top drawer goalkeeper, should have been playing elsewhere. Again, apologies to Partick Thistle fans, but he's won a League Cup.
Wind him up anymore.
He's won a League Cup, and the other 10, Tam, in this picture are all European Cup winners. They're all on the verge of either winning the UEFA Cup or winning the Cup Winners' Cup. Every one of them.
We didn't get through the group.
And 82 we didn't get through the group because obviously USSR.
You're only as good as your goalkeeper.
And I have to say this, the only thing I was going to say to you is I'm going to say one name to you, Tam. And if I say this name to you, if our goalkeeper maybe was a wee bit more alert, we allowed New Zealand and Winton Riffer to score. I'll never forget his name.
There was half time of that game. Somebody got the blame for that goal. I'm not going to say who it was, but Jock Steen absolutely went through him.
Yeah.
Who's the score?
We won 5-2.
Yeah.
But the goal difference, was that the goal?
Goal difference killed us again. One goal.
Was that when you had to beat Uruguay? Was that not?
No,
that's a different World Cup.
3 World Cups have been at.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's our. Who was the player that got roasted?
I've been dying to get this question for the gloves.
Well, I haven't got the gloves here, but I'll tell you why, Ruffy, because we want to set it up properly. Okay. We'll do it Monday, okay? Because now I've promised people, Rangers fans, a Rangers talk with the programme. You know, the one from the Europa League final? Yeah. And I can't find it. Okay. I can't find the programme, but I've got the jersey. But I can't find the programme. Okay. We'll do it Monday, is that okay? Yeah, okay. Will we do the Danny McGregor competition for next week as well? On the manager who gets... Ruffy.
Danny's not going to talk to you now.
Can I just say something to you?
I never said who it was.
Do you not think as a journalist I know all these things? Anyway, Liam Fox, Dundee United manager, 2-year deal, no big surprise. Is it the cheap option or is it the right option?
Cheap option for me. I think that Jack Ross was a big outlay, I think, for Dundee United. I think he was still getting paid off of Hibs as far as I know. I think he wouldn't come up with Dundee United unless he was getting a fairly hefty wage. Have to pay off him, pay off his staff. I think Fox is already in the building. Bring Stevie Crawford in from East Fife, who's a good coach, I know well. So listen, I wish him all the best, but he's a big job on. There's a lot of experienced players in that dressing room. And he's got to, first of all, he's got to win them over. I think they're only as good as the experienced guys in the dressing room. He's got to do that. They're bottom of the league. Had a poor start, and he's got to get them up the tail. Yeah, and of course he was sacked when Cowdenbeath were bottom of the league as well. Liam Fox. So whatever the United board have seen over the last few weeks, plan.
Yeah, well, they may well have a cunning plan. They might have to get one to get out of it, and I see where you're going with that. But nevertheless, he's got the job. Here's a statement on getting the job. Are the United fans going to be overly excited about this? But fair play to the boy. Good luck to him. I'm absolutely delighted to be given the opportunity to lead this outstanding football club. It's a massive honour and privilege, and I want to thank Tony and the board for their faith in me. I know how much the supporters at this club crave success. They, quite rightly, want a team that is fully committed to the cause every week, and it's over to us as a coaching staff and the players to achieve that. The group of players have real potential and quality. It's down to us to find consistency in our performances to deliver the success that we all want. Well, we can, I think, and it's only right and proper. Ruffy, wish him all the best in this one, whether he's this blue chip choice or not.
Yeah, we saw it with the previous manager. He came through the coaching the academy and everything that was there, and they gave him a chance, and I thought he did remarkably well, particularly in the first year. I was absolutely gobsmacked when he moved over to Honved. You know, I always thought there was something behind the scenes in that one, but he said no, it was a career change that he couldn't say no to. But I thought he brought so many young players through at Dundee United that it build on year, so it was a surprise.
Maybe he was just hungry to get another challenge over at Honved.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to Rangers and Livingston. Why are they in the news? Because we're still waiting on their 2 votes, Ruffy, for this £150 million Sky Sports TV deal. It needs an 11-1 majority, which of course is lunacy in itself, but that's what the clubs did when they all colluded with each other the last time around. It should have been a change in that vote, but we have an 11-1 structure, which is lunacy in this country.
Yeah, it certainly is. It was muted that they were going to try and change it. They were going to throw a vote out to everybody to see if they could change that. I don't think they've done it yet. I haven't seen it happening. So maybe they're hoping that they can persuade the 2 teams to take the deal and we can move forward, because the bigger picture is there's more than the 2 that aren't voting. Yeah,
listen, I think Stuart Robertson has made a point, and it's a valid point if you're talking about it in a commercial sense, and it's quite simply that it maybe should have been put out to tender for other companies to see if they can get more money on it, but the SPFL have already had their fingers burnt before in turning their back on Sky, and it's a very precarious game to do that, and I think maybe there's a little bit of fear in the background.
Yeah, better the devil you know, I think, at times, and I think that, you know, they've got that money guaranteed off Sky, and the problem we've got is there's no really another bidder. And obviously with BT Sport, they seem to be, you know, kind of shifting theirs down to England or getting rid of it, and there's not an Amazon or a Netflix or somebody abroad, American company or somebody that's going to come in and compete with Sky. So yeah, as long as that's the case, then it's just going to be, you know, we're just going to have to suck it up as clubs and take the money that Sky offer.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to get your thoughts on, guys, before we head out for a weekend of hopefully enjoying ourselves and watching Scotland win against the Republic of Ireland. Well done to Ben Doak. Obviously Celtic fans will be looking, maybe kicking themselves. He's down at Liverpool, but he scored on his under-21 debut as they defeated Northern Ireland 3-1 in a friendly. Good goal he scored as well, Ruffy.
Yeah, he certainly out. I mean, I've said this all along, and Cam will appreciate it as well. You've got to start qualifying for big tournaments when you're young. I mean, you went to a couple when you're under whatever it was, and I went to a couple as well. And you come back for these tournaments a better player. You come back knowing the level you've got to be at, and that's the same for all our under 17s, under 18s, under 19s. They all must start getting to big tournaments and starting to experience what it's like, because it's just a progression into the full squad.
And at this point, Tam, I just want to put out maybe I think good luck for the future for one player that I thought was really going to have a fantastic career, and that was Lewis McLeod. I read the piece this morning in the newspapers with great sadness at Lewis's decision to quit at 28. He's had a hell of a time. I thought when he was in the Rangers side, you know, breaking into the team, I thought this boy's got something. I think he could be a player, but it just didn't seem to materialise. He was just dogged with injuries.
Yeah, and sometimes you get that in your career, you're just unlucky with injuries, and he was probably the best young player that came through at Rangers at that point when they went into the 3rd division, and Ali and Kenny McDowell were giving a couple of young boys an opportunity, and he was probably the best, the pick of the bunch. He got his move, I think, down to Brentford. Mark Warburton signed him, and I actually read it as well, and I was quite sad reading it. You know, he was sitting on the bench and he knew he was miles off it. You know, he knew he wasn't fit, and it must be a horrible feeling, you know, when you're getting paid, and Brentford paid £1 million for him, I think, and you know, when you're picking up money for nothing really, and you're not contributing to the team, then it can be a very lonely place as a player. And yeah, I think he's tried at various clubs to come back. I think he finished at Plymouth, and 28-year-old, you know, he should be in the peak of your career, and he's just, as you said, he's just been dogged. I think he tore his hamstring when he first went to Brentford, and it's just been setback after setback. So you wish him all the best. He's a really promising player, and maybe we'll get into the coaching ranks now.
It's really gut-wrenching when you hear he's only 28, Ruffy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just brings to light, you know, that all footballers aren't keeping a lot of money out of the game. If you're lucky enough, you get maybe 10, 15, 20 years out of it, but the majority of players don't get that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why when there's money out there, they should take it while it's there.
You get 24 years out of it, didn't you?
22, I think.
22, okay. Now, Kyle Lafferty. Last point that we're going to finish on, Kyle Lafferty's been withdrawn from the Northern Ireland Nations League squad. Obviously the investigation by Kilmarnock into the alleged sectarian remark, and I think Kilmarnock have said already that the footage, we're aware of it, which appears to show a member of our playing staff using language of a sectarian nature, and the Irish FA said on Friday they've noted that the investigation has been launched into the video by the club, so they have also followed suit and said he's out of the squad, albeit he might not have played anyway through injury, but that's not the point. He's been withdrawn.
Yeah. It's at times like this when you think of the individual, when does a penny drop? You know, when does sensibility kick in? With some players it doesn't, and you keep saying to yourself, will this be the one that he'll change, or whoever the individual is? But I can't see it, you know, that and it puts the club in a predicament. You know, I don't know what the rules are in a contract of no terminating a contract or whatever, but you can tell by the club and the country, you know, that they see this very, very serious, and so it should be. Well,
it's an investigation into the allegation. If it is indeed proved to be correct and he has to face some form of penalty, then Kilmarnock will make that call. It might end his international career as well, Tam. It's a hefty, penalty to pay. But over and above that, I think the other things, Ruffy says, what do you do? Well, what you do is you go and take these people who are guilty of these remarks and put them through a programme to enlighten them of their misdemeanour and, try and educate them.
Yeah, I think that's what Kilmarnock will do. I don't think they'll terminate his contract. I think they'll fine him as much money as they can, and I think they'll put him on a course, because I see these players are role models for people. You've got to behave yourself on and off the park, and it's not the first time he's been embroiled in something like this, so he's got to learn. I think that probably maybe be the end of his Northern Ireland career, so he's obviously paid a heavy price. And whilst I don't condone anything he said, what annoys me is these people putting cameras in people's faces, and you've seen it with Scott Brown a couple of weeks ago, the guy outside the Fleetwood game, and called him something, and Scott managed to walk away. Sometimes you say something you shouldn't. As I say, I'm no condoning what Kyle Lafferty done, he was wrong. But these wee morons that are trying to get likes on social media are out of order as well, for putting cameras in people's faces and calling people whatever they called Kyle Lafferty.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody's got an opinion on it. Something's going to happen, and we will report on it. We've given you our opinion on this. As far as the competition was concerned, our little quiz, I beg your pardon, we'll get the competitions, I'll start them next week, and we'll get some belter stuff to give away, including for Rangers fans. There's a top, and there's also the programme from the Europa League final. There's a Jota painting, I'm picking it up this weekend, Ruffy, which I think is going to be fantastic. There's your gloves as well, and there's some absolute fantastic prizes we'll be giving away all the way up until the end of this year, because Ruffy, it's our 10th year. We're going to have a night out. We might have a wee sports night as well to celebrate our 10th year, Tammy. That would be good.
That would be great. I think we should get together, ourselves and Tam, and maybe put on a wee night.
Yeah, I think it'll be fantastic. Get everybody together, hire a hall, have a bit of fun, Ruffy, reflect on a few memories, and maybe you could update your after dinner stuff and tell us some extra stories.
We could invite the amount of guests we've had to come along on the show, which would be very good.
I might need to sell my car to actually get them up for it, but nevertheless, on you go. Phone Kenny, will you? Okay, the answer to the quiz, any chance?
Something tells me he's a Hartford.
50?
I think he got 50.
So you think Asa Hartford's one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, and what about the other one? Have you got any?
I'll go for James McFadden.
James McFadden at 50 caps.
Or Kenny Miller.
Joe Jordan was 52, something like that.
Yeah, it's another one that you played with as well, and he's been on the show.
Robbo?
No, he's been on the show, and supported us big time.
Wee Gordon?
Yep, well done.
Gordon
and Asa, you've got them.
I've got Asa, I think.
And the last one is someone that you would have, you definitely played against him, Tam. It's as simple as that. You definitely played against him.
Who did they play with in Scotland?
Rangers.
Barry Ferguson?
Nope. It's one more. You want to add this? Do you know this one? Defender.
Alan Hutton.
That'll do it. You had to get that, by the way, because people were wondering if you even watch football, if you hadn't contributed there. Hartford, Strachan, Hutton, and we wish John McGinn the very best. Great interview with Kerry Pollock, our reporter, and great little one-to-one ahead of him winning his 50th cap. And as Ruffy mentioned there, he'll go on to win a fair few more. Let's hope his 50th cap is all about winning. We think that Scotland can defeat the Republic of Ireland. Do you? It's all about opinions. You get them. We're on here mixing it with you, chatting to you, taking pelters, and of course lots of decent people posting their messages on the programme. Anybody that doesn't, we try and keep it as clean as we possibly can on the feed, that people just talk about football, and we thank you for your decency and the fact that you're joining the football family, because as well as being able to engage with us, you can engage with the people who are also on it. And if you hit the subscribe button, it's absolutely free. Tell your friends, share it. Look across all our social media, and as Ruffy has found out, the rest of his family, if you download the PLZ Soccer app, it's fairly straightforward. All you need to do, download the app. It has all the breaking stories, and if you go into the live section, you can actually watch the show live as well on the app. So we're giving it all there for you. Thank you very much for watching us today. We'll be back on Monday, hopefully talking about a Scotland win. From Tam, Ruffy and myself, Peter Martin, have a great weekend.